Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing the Sandbox program. And we haven't discussed this in a while because we've been talking about the end of the COE, the creation of the Thailand Pass, this now exemption from quarantine scheme, quarantine-free arrival in Thailand, etc. But the Sandbox program is still operating. We're going to go ahead and throw this on screen. This is Thailand Pass FAQs. This is from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, specifically the Department of Consular Affairs. That's mfa.go.th. And here under bullet point 11, you can see, can I travel in Thailand freely if I've entered through the exemption from quarantine scheme? We've discussed that in another video contemporaneously with this one, where, yeah, there is this essentially very truncated quarantine where you just take a PCR test and then you're free to go. Then there is the Sandbox program, and it asks, can I travel freely if I come through the Sandbox program? Answer, Sandbox program scheme, you can travel freely in the Sandbox area for the duration of 7 days once the RT-PCR test upon arrival received is negative. Once you have completed your 7-day mandatory stay within the Sandbox area, you can travel freely to other parts of Thailand. So, not to confuse folks, it's why we're making separate videos on this whole thing, and I'm also making a video regarding alternative quarantine, which that's still going on. This is all kind of overlapping. These are different programs. And again, for people confused by this, it might not be a terrible idea to contact a legal professional to gain some insight and guidance, because there's multiple programs running simultaneously, and depending on how you process your case and what country you're coming from and some of the underlying facts in your case, it's going to vary how you come through the program and what the results are and the requirements are once you arrive here in Thailand. If you end up in the Sandbox program, for example, down in Phuket, you're going to have to stay in Phuket for the 7 days before you can leave, as opposed to the quarantine exemption, which basically allowed, and that's going on as of November 1, it's going on up here in Bangkok and some other folks up here in these blue zones. But long story short, when you arrive via that program, you can travel freely after the initial test. So exactly how this is going to play out remains to be seen, quite frankly. We're making this video right at the inception of this overall change in policy. So I suspect that there's going to be some confusion, especially. I think there's going to be a little bit of misunderstanding about how things kind of process. But at least for the foreseeable future, I definitely think, or I should say sometime in the foreseeable future, I definitely think this stuff is going to shake out. But for now, yeah, we're kind of dealing with this overlap with respect to these different schemes.